is Urbie Green. Urban Clifford Green, to be exact, but everybody calls me Urbie. Here you see me as a trombone soloist playing a number from my Project 3 album, 21 Trombones. Today I'm known mainly as a studio recording instrumentalist. I also play engagements with my own 16-piece orchestra and my jazz combo. But maybe you're wondering how far back my music education goes. Well, like many of you, my mother started me on the piano at age 6, and I took up the trombone about the same time I got my first long pants at 12. Before this present phase of my career, I played trombone on the road with several of the name bands, such as Gene Krupa, Woody Herman, and Benny Goodman. All through my musical career, many fine musicians have given me helpful ideas, and every chance I get, I visit schools, for I take great pleasure in passing on information as a trombone clinician. 2 of my older brothers were trombonists, and that helped a lot. But then, too, I've always been pretty serious about my music. Well, that's enough about me. Let's talk about the trombone and its techniques. I'd like to pass on a few tips to you that were very helpful to me during my development as a trombonist. 4 of these points I'd like to stress right now are embouchure, breathing, tone, and vibrato. If you'll notice, my embouchure, the word embouchure, by the way, means the position of your mouthpiece to your lips. As you can see, my embouchure consists of a lot more top lip in the mouthpiece than bottom lip, with the mouthpiece resting firmly on the bottom lip, like this. This allows for more flexibility because actually the top lip is the lip that does most of the work, so it has to be free to vibrate, like this. And now the question of breathing. Every musical passage should be supported with a good breath of air, and the best way to get the biggest breath of air in a hurry is to throw out the diaphragm here first, and then the chest immediately afterwards in one continuous motion like this. This is like getting 2 breaths in one, because you're filling here and here as well as instead of just the chest alone. And when you produce a tone, the note should be supported in one continuous pressure from the diaphragm like this. Now, as to the question of tone, many young people ask me what they can do to produce a nicer, more mellow tone. And what works best for me is to not overblow, but just fill the horn to its capacity without, like I said, overblowing. Overblowing would produce a real piercing type of tone, like this. So, if you want to get a more mellow tone, fill the horn, but not overblowing, like this. Of course, a little vibrato helps, too. Speaking of vibrato, there are 2 types of vibrato. First, there's the lip vibrato, sometimes called the chin vibrato. This is produced by moving the chin up and down evenly while producing a tone like this. And now the slide vibrato. This is produced by moving the slide approximately 1 inch above and 1 inch below the note being produced. However, I'd like to point out something very important. In order to play first position notes with a slide vibrato, It's necessary to tune your instrument in such a way that first position is not all the way in, but out approximately 1 inch. Here's the slide vibrato. And now, a few words about musical interpretation. First, solo playing. I'd like to emphasize that solo playing is a very individual matter, especially in pop music and jazz. I think that a player should strive to find his own true feelings and express them and come up with an individuality rather than trying to sound like someone else. Are there any questions before I go too much further? Yes?
How would you go about playing jazz?
I suppose you're referring to solo jazz playing. Well, I would say you have to get involved in it somehow, and the best way I could suggest is to organize what we used to call jam sessions. I suppose they still do, where you get together with a rhythm section and improvise on a given chord progression. That's what jazz is. It's making up your own little melodies to a rhythm and preset chord progression. So get involved in it. Have a regular jam session. And now we come to section playing. In section playing, or playing together as a group, there should be less emphasis on individuality and more emphasis on teamwork. For instance, a vibrato used in section playing should be not as pronounced as a vibrato used during solo performance. I think a good example of section work would be a few measures from my Project 3 record of Without a Song. Let's hear a few bars. When it comes to section playing, I personally like to hear as much harmony as I do the lead. In other words, I don't like to hear the lead sticking out like a sore thumb. I like to hear those nice, rich harmony notes. To demonstrate this, I'd like to invite 5 of our young student trombonists up to join me with a little arrangement I've just sketched out on the same tune that you heard on the record, Without a Song. So if we may have some music stands, and you folks come on up, we'll see what happens. And we'll be making use of many of the points we discussed earlier: breathing, tone, and vibrato in this particular number. I think it's a pretty good example of most of those things. So let's all get a big breath and see what happens. I know it's going to be better than the record now. You have to remember they had 15 more guys than we have here. fine musicians. Thank you, each and every one.